Recording. Hello, everybody. Let's visit CSSBattle.dev and do the daily target for today, which is really interesting. All right, what do we got going on here? We got shapes. We have multiple shapes. We have multiple circles, including, and all of these can be done with radial gradients on the body. Radial gradient, and that might even repeat. If I look at what that radius is, probably that's going to be a problem there. So we got two. This might be two elements, one of which is flipped, which I think is probably the approach that I'm going to take. Is it? This flat part stands out as a tricky bit. So this becomes a game of how few elements can I do. So I think the approach I'm going to take is to create just one side and just this element to begin with. So let's see, what does it take to do that? So I'm just going to make one and try to learn about it because the shape is important. Margins I'll put only on the element. And so the first thing is to make a rectangle. 85, 84. Make a rectangle which has got the margins to narrow in exactly on the sides. And so we see the height 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay. And then if we adjust this margin, right, the width is expanding to fit within the margins. 100, 200, 20, 30, 40, 50. There it is. Okay, and so how much of this can we get from a border radius? I'm going to guess that it's 50 pixels, 50, maybe 60. Okay. Can we get this one? And is there any point to getting this one? Because we need a circle here and we need a circle there. I believe there are some interesting proposals around border corner shapes, but that's not something that's in browsers yet. So it's barely worth mentioning, but sorry, I just mentioned it. How about 40, 0, 60, 0, 60 pixels? Oh, that's so interesting, right? Like, look at that shape. So we get, by doing just 60 pixels, we get the perfect circle, but that is not right. That's really interesting. So 60, let's see what 60, 60, 0, 0 does. Okay, so that's what I would expect it to be. 30 pixels, and 30, maybe 40. Okay. So that's what we got so far. And then I think it's two radial gradients on that element. So rather than that, so I'll do red, and you can see. This is the shape that I've started with. So let's do radial gradient. And I'm going to use the keyword circle to start with. Circle at 50%, 30 pixels. Okay, and then 40. All right, so where are we at? Okay, so if I put the background color, you can see what I've made. So I made that circle, which is not low enough and not big enough. So we're going to put it lower and make it bigger. 60, 50, 50 and 50. Oh, no, how about 55 and 55? Oh no, not quite. So here's the trickiness, right? This is why you make the first one and see how far you get. So is that, so how is it? 50, 51, 52, 53, 52, about 52? Oh, there it is. So that looks like a clean line, right? That's what I'm getting at there. So if I get rid of the red, so the way I'm doing it, I'm not able to reuse this sizing. So it does need to be 2 radial gradients. So let's do the next one. And can I do the 1Q trick here? So I'm going to undo that. I just want to make sure that or see if I can use the 1Q. Yes, I can use 1Q instead of the keyword circle. That's defining the shape of what that radial gradient would be. It could also be an ellipse. You could have no keyword, and then it would adhere to, in this case, it's kind of a long rectangle, so it would be a kind of ellipse. All right, next, radial gradient. So I'm just going to copy and paste it because, you know, why not reuse what we've made? And I'm going to do a red color. And I'll go ahead and put it on the top level because it doesn't matter. Like, we've got the same color in both places. There's no difference putting it in one place versus another. All right, so this is smaller. Is it half as big? Maybe 2/3 as big. So let's guess and say 30. Not 5230. How about 30? There it is. And then we move it around at 75%, 80 pixels. That's a guess. 90, 100, 70. So I'm using percentages there, which is a little bit tricky. 65. How about pixels? About 50 pixels. 50, 60, 70. Okay, so we're not centered. Well, maybe we are. Could it be 31, 32? Obviously I'm using the wrong color. Let's go ahead and use the correct color. Now we got it. So now we can see that. Maybe, so looking at where it's wrong, this is the one that we can control because we know we need to deal with this part here, right? We have the circles, but we have that flat edge. But luckily, all these the circles are adhering to the border radius, right, which we already set, and then the radii of these radial gradients. So we got to center that properly here. I think it means it needs to be less low, so up. So 50, 48. Oh no, so here's where you got to keep track of exactly which one you're looking at. How about 99? And then how about 33 pixels? Okay, and then we'll go up again. And then 34 pixels. That looks pretty good. I'll take that. That's fine. So then what's the last bit? How about a linear gradient? That linear gradient will be, or is there a way to reuse that one? If I made it, yeah, no, I want that radius to be exactly what that is. So I'm going to do a linear gradient. There are some other ways I can think of to cover that up, but I'm going to not bother with that. I'm going to continue with the gradients. So that'll be 90 degrees, transparent, 50%, and then this color. So it's coming in from the side. 0. Oh, look at that. So that's not what I want. I want it to go over a little bit more. 60, 61, 62. See that little nib? Can you see that? So if I do 50%, you can see that little edge, right? That's no longer a nice round edge. So I need to move that. So again, help you visualize, if I do red here, you can see what I'm filling in. So I'm just filling in that space. All right, so let's get it. What is it, 60 something? Let's do 60 again. 61, 62, 63. And I think that's good. All right. Let's make the next one of these. The next one of these is going to have very similar margins, right? This trick of flopping these the different side margins because we know it's kind of identical. And then using a scale of, so on the x-axis it's minus 1, but on the y-axis it's 1. And then this top margin needs to be like negative. There it is. That's kind of fun. Seeing that plop. 1, 0. 1, 2, 3. There it is. But now we got dots to do. All right. Radial gradient, anybody? 1Q. 10 pixels. Let's say transparent. Or do we do the blue? Yeah, we can do the blue. Sure. And let's set a position. So let's, all right, so the trick is to put it where we want it, at 10 pixels. And all we need to do is, oh, it's not centered. Look at that. So we need the vertical, 60 pixels. All right, and probably the size is wrong as well. Okay, so we're gonna set the ats first. So what do we need here? 100, 140, 50, 60, 70, 100, 20, 30, 40, 35, 34, 34, 35, 5, 6, and then one more over. 1, 2. Okay. And right now it's at 0, 0, and it's, if I set a width to it, oh, interestingly, I'm not seeing anything. Where is it? Oh, because I have this at, I need to have it be like what, a 200. There it is. Okay, there it is. So let's remove the width here. No, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going back and forth. Sorry about that. Let's do this. Let's do the next one. All right, so this one we need to move over vertically. 20, 202. Where is it? I don't see it. Oh, because I changed this to be blue. And that's the reason for doing it transparent. And then I'm going to put blue as the background color. So that final color ends up being background dash color, right? Often you'll see when you're writing code, you'll see a background color explicitly set. And for me, background color tends to be like the last line of defense, the last thing I'm filling in. 225, 5, 3, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there it is, and I'm going to submit this just to see whether we've got it. And we do, but I'm not totally happy with that. I would like to, what do I want to do? I would like to optimize that. I would like to have that be a single thing. So this position, that's currently at 0, 0, and it's 400 pixels wide and 300 pixels tall. Like that's sort of the implicit sizing that's happening there. But I want to not do that. So I'm going to do a radial gradient 1Q that's in the middle, and do red, 10 pixels, transparent, and there it is. And if I do position minus 10 pixels, 10, 20, 30, 40, 20, 30. And then I guess I need what? So it's 136, so what is that, minus 14 pixels? Something like that. 1, 29, 28. All right, so if I set a width to this, I would like to see an even distribution. That might be it. 0. Close. That's worse. That's even worse. So what, 59, 58, 57, 56. That looks right. So again, I'm using these adjustments, 20, 30, 31, 32. But we see that it does repeat at a little bit, but that's okay. Because we have 2 radial gradients where we needed all of this. Well, we didn't need this extra stuff, but that's still a nice, efficient way to do it. So I am going to put the blue there. And then just because I'm feeling cheeky, I can do a box shadow. Or can I? Maybe I can. Let's find out. Inset 10 pixels red. Oh, no. Box shadow inset 10 pixels 0 red. Oh, and look at that. So the margins that I've got, because I'm not setting the margins, box shadow is a wrong way to do that. But you can see that I can make shapes to do some coverings, but I would need to also set a margin of 0 here. And I don't want to do that, so forget that idea. But let's do a linear gradient from side to side. Linear gradient. And the keyword 90 degrees, or is that a keyword? That is a direction. The direction, I think, is that first optional thing. The linear gradients normally go top to bottom without any keyword. But if you put in a degree marker or something like 2 left or 2 right, or then you get something else. So let's do 90 degrees, some of this blue, and then transparent, and then that blue again. And you can already kind of see that it sort of works. I'm going to submit that for fun. I don't think that that's going to match because we have a little bit of a ghost. It's hard to see, but is there. Yeah, 99.3%. The back end definitely sees that. 10%, 0, 90%, 0, and submit. And this should be the final. Or is it the final? Not quite the final. Let's minify, and you'll see it's a lot of gradients. Are there other ways to do this? Yes, it's all just circles and boxes. So there's other ways that you can approach this for sure. Unit replace gets only one thing. Let's see. Do I have the keyword circle in here? Did I fix that? I didn't do that. Good. Margin I could do as a variable. Is that better? --m. People don't like it when I saw a complaint like, is this longer? It might be a little longer, but there's a cleanliness to it that I like. It's a reminder that of how useful custom properties are to me. Like that, I really kind of like that. I could also do, because the 3 different things change, so that's fine. Let's see what else. What else could we do? I guess that's it. We stop there. That's a fun one. That's a super fun problem and a fun solution, and I enjoyed that one. But this would be definitely one that you could do with all gradients. I think we sort of proved it. Like, you could actually do the repeat parts of this as well, repeating. The tricky part is that linear gradient, right? So And again, I will put the red on there, and you can see the work that that's doing. So just that little bitty part. Is there a more efficient way to do that? Yeah, probably there is. Definitely. But that's the way I chose to do it today. That's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a good day out there. I know it's a very trying time for a lot of people. Go make a web page. Go make a web page. Make a fun web page. Make a cute web page. Make an angry web page. Make a politically active web page. Make a web page about something that you love, something that you care about. Make a web page. It's really cool. All right, get out of here. Bye.